It's Matthew Garwood here, City of Launceston Mayor. We are at UTAS Stadium. We've got another massive clash. It's North versus South, the Tassie Hawks versus the Roos. The Roos playing out of Blundstone Arena, the Hawks obviously here at University of Tasmania Stadium in the north. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a look into what it takes to prep the ground. Made a little bit of an impact with one of our early games this season with some of the patterning. Let's find out how we do it. We're going to have a chat to Steve and Mitch. So Mitch, we're here at UTAS Stadium. We're looking at mowing patterns. We see it as spectators with the different ways in which the grounds are mowed and the different patterns. We sort of made a bit of an impact with the NAB Cup doing something a little bit different. What are we planning for our last game of the season here for 2024?
For the last game of the season, we're planning on doing a sort of a 3D pattern. We've got the modified east-west, north-south pattern, and we've decided to add these 45-degree I don't know what you call them, cross lines throughout the field to sort of maintain the sort of 3D effect from the point of the cameras and the viewers.
So what sort of work goes into putting something like this together on the ground?
So first we'll plot out the east-west lines. The mowers will mow that in so they get a nice defined pattern going that way. We'll mark out the north-south and we'll get a nice defined pattern going that way, and then in the last week though we'll mow the 45-degree cross sections.
Sure, all right, let's go and do it.
Awesome, thank you.
So Steve, next part of the process, we've got to turn that plan that we just saw with Mitch into reality. So what's the next step?
Yeah, so as Mitch discussed, we've essentially planned the mow pattern out based on the field's orientation. So just basically involves us setting up. We've got some known points around the field that we use for all setting out for different sports and stuff here. So we use those to orientate ourselves, and then it's just a matter of using some flagging to set up at each side of the guttering for the field, and then yeah, the guys driving the mowers essentially use those to line up each cross section.
Now obviously we're putting flags into the ground to find those spots, but some pretty important accuracies required. So what sort of technology, what sort of specs are we looking at to try and keep that as proper as we can?
Yeah, so for this job we'll use what's called a total station. So it's essentially a modern version of an old theodolite. So that just involves us having to set up here, orientating that based on some known marks that we already have here, and then yeah, using that we can use the instrument to essentially mark out all the flags. So yeah, we'll be looking at probably, I don't know, sub 5-10 mil for this one. So yeah, accurate enough to set out a mowing pattern. So.
When you look at the patterns that you see on TV in whatever code you're watching, and you do see the different colours and the ways, how is that created? Because I've heard so many different things, that there's like a light spray of chalk or paint, or that there's different, get the grass going a different way and a different way. What actually is the ability to make the patterns?
And you'll see this as it more comes to life as we continue to mow, but it's got a lot to do with the light, and it's beautiful when we have days like today. It will really stand out. But we mow with a cylinder mower and not a rotary mower. So your normal household mowers that you mow your lawns with a rotary mower, and it's very hard to get a pattern in there. But every now and again you'll see some light and shade, we call it. But with a cylinder mower it gets a lot more pronounced. So with that, we are actually folding the grass when we're cutting it one way, and then when we go in the opposite direction, it will still show that green, but in the different shades. So you'll get your light and your dark. So the amount of times we do that, the more it will stand out and how it will pronounce.
So we're back here at UTAS Stadium, game day tomorrow. We've got a hive of activity here. TV crews are rolling in, but we are going to check in with John and see how our geometrical pattern has gone for the final game, Hawks versus the Roos. Let's go have a look. So John, we were talking about the initial planning and what went into getting it ready to go. We're starting to see quite a lot of work has happened already, and you've been physically on the mower yourself. In terms of that process, Happy with how it's all come about and how it's gone?
Yeah, I am, and more so for our team and for the hard workers that are here at the stadium as well. And for us at the City of Launceston too, this could be our last major event under the City of Launceston umbrella. So we really wanted to highlight this event and make sure that it was a success in the best way we possibly can.
We appreciate it, John, and we're looking forward to a ripper of a game tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's just a little bit of an insight into what's possible here at UTAS Stadium, but what goes into ensuring that we have absolutely world-class standards. Looking forward to a great game tomorrow. If you haven't been to the footy for a little while, well, have a look into it. Tomorrow, Hawks versus the Roos, North versus South, Bogues versus Cascade. We can get through that little bit of a divide there in Oatlands, but yeah, absolutely looking forward to it tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed that backstage. Credit to the team here. John and the guys have done an absolutely fantastic job. See you tomorrow.